It started with a knock, a single deliberate rap against my bedroom door. I was alone in my small apartment, nestled between two towering buildings in a quiet corner of the city. It wasn't unusual for neighbors to stop by unannounced, so I didn't think much of it. But when I opened the door, no one was there. That night, I shrugged it off. Perhaps it was just the wind playing tricks on me, or maybe someone had mistaken my apartment for another. But looking back now, I realize that was the first sign, just the beginning of something far more sinister. For years, I lived a predictable life. My days were spent working from home, taking breaks to walk through the nearby park, and occasionally visiting friends who lived across town. The apartment felt like home, a safe haven where I could retreat after long hours of work. That is, until the day I discovered the forgotten room. It happened during a particularly rainy afternoon. While organizing some old boxes in the hallway closet, I noticed something odd. Behind a stack of unused furniture, there was a faint outline etched into the wall, an archway hidden beneath layers of paint. Curiosity got the better of me, and I grabbed a screwdriver to pry away the boards covering it. What lay beyond defied explanation. A narrow corridor stretched out before me, dimly lit by flickering bulbs hanging from exposed wires. The air inside was colder, heavier, carrying an earthy scent that made my skin crawl. At the end of the passage stood a wooden door, its surface carved with intricate patterns, resembling roots entwining around each other. I stood frozen for what felt like hours, debating whether to step inside. Something about the room called to me, pulling at the edges of my consciousness. Finally, curiosity overcame fear, and I pushed open the door. Inside, the walls seemed alive, shifting subtly, as if breathing. There was no furniture, no windows, only a single chair positioned in the center of the room. On the seat rested a notebook, its pages filled with handwriting that looked eerily familiar, yet entirely foreign. Day 17, they don't see us. Day 29, he's starting to notice. Day 45, almost ready. Each entry grew shorter, more urgent. By the final page, the words were scrawled frantically. They're coming for you. After leaving the room, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Every glance out the window revealed nothing but empty streets. Yet, every time I turned away, I swore I heard footsteps trailing behind me. Even my reflection seemed off. In certain angles, my face would distort ever so slightly, as though trying to mimic someone else entirely. Then came the strangest part. Friends I'd known for years began acting differently, distant, almost mechanical in their movements. Conversations became stilted, their laughter hollow. One evening, I confronted an old colleague about our shared memories. To my horror, she denied knowing me altogether. When I pressed further, her expression shifted unnaturally, her jaw stretching wider than humanly possible. It wasn't until later that I pieced together the truth. The forgotten room wasn't meant for me. It was created for them. Whatever they were, they thrived in shadows, feeding on doubt and uncertainty. Each victim they claimed disappeared without a trace, replaced by perfect replicas designed to erase all evidence of their existence. Desperate to avoid the same fate, I devised a plan. Using materials scavenged from the apartment, I constructed a makeshift barrier, sealing off the entrance to the forgotten room. For weeks, I stayed awake, listening intently for any signs of movement. The silence was deafening, but worse still was the knowledge that they were waiting. One night, the barrier failed. The door burst open, revealing figures cloaked in darkness. Their forms twisted and contorted, defying logic. As they advanced, I fled through the apartment, barricading myself in the bathroom. Through the thin walls, I heard whispers, my name repeated endlessly, each syllable dripping with malice. Now, here I sit, recording this message in case anyone finds it. If you're hearing this, then I've already failed. Take my warning. Beware the forgotten rooms. They exist not to trap, but to replace. And once they have you, there's no going back. They're getting closer. I can hear them outside the door. There's nowhere left to run. All I can do is wait and hope someone hears this before it's too late.